It is Friday, October 9th, and what a week it has been. I have information about the stimulus, about the upcoming election, and about Broadway coming at you now. So let's get on to stimulus. It has been a wild ride over the last month and a half. Last week, it looked like Mnuchin and Pelosi were coming closer together. They were just working on the language. It was getting very exciting. We thought we were right there, only to have that scuttled by the president on Twitter saying he's calling off negotiations until after the election and everyone losing their minds. And then he started this bizarre negotiating with himself on Twitter. It was very, very, very weird. He was talking about piecemeal deals, even though the Democrats have already said they're not doing a piecemeal deal. It was headache inducing. But now he's talking about he wants an all-encompassing deal by the end of next week. So why is this different from every other time we've come close to a deal? Well, the Republicans are underwater bigly nationwide in the polls. Donald Trump is down around about 8 to 10 points nationally. He's either losing or tied in all of the swing states that matter. Texas is in play, for God's sake. And he needs a Hail Mary, and that could come in an encompassing stimulus deal. He watches the stock market, right? The stock market rises as stimulus talks get closer together. It drops as stimulus talks get further away. The stock market loves money and stimulus, and Donald Trump needs some sort of win at the moment. If you think about it, he's had COVID. He had that disastrous debate performance. His entire White House is essentially a super spreader event every day. He needs something, and he is not an ideologue in the sense of a typical conservative Republican. He's a populist. He will do anything to make himself look good, and this deal could be that Hail Mary. What would it include? We're talking $1,200 checks, close to, if not, a $600 unemployment extension through the end of January. More PUA, and this is really important. I'm on PUA. That's the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance for gig workers and non-traditional workers. It runs out on December the 27th. We need an extension at least through the end of January. There would be a student loan abatement, and there would also be that Save Our Stages bill for Broadway, which is desperately needed. More on that a little bit later. It's getting closer together because we have a lot of incumbent Republican senators in very tight races now that would not typically be tight. Susan Collins is losing in Maine, and I believe she won her last re-election by 26 points. Lindsey Graham is in a dead heat in South Carolina, for God's sakes. They are imploring the president to do something, and as we get closer to the election, and as if the polls stay where they are, you're going to see a lot of Republicans try and distance themselves from the president and get desperate like rats on a sinking ship. So watch that space. Hopefully have a stimulus by the end of next week. Let's talk about the stock market for a minute. Typically in September, the stock market is low. And in an election year, it typically goes up if the incumbent, particularly Republican, is looking like they're going to win. But at the moment, the market is pricing in a blue wave. And a blue wave means a lot of money for the people and a lot of money into the economy. So the longer it gets pushed off, the further the Democrats rise in the polls, the higher the likelihood is that we get a big comprehensive bill, whether it be this month, next month, or at the end of January. Because if the Democrats can take the House, the Senate, and the presidency, you're going to see a lot of money flowing out into the economy, and the market has priced this in. Now, let's talk about Broadway. Today, October 9th, we just got word that Broadway is staying shut through May 30th of 2021. This is absolutely devastating news. Not that we didn't expect that it was going to take a while, but to get it in writing is really heartbreaking. You know, I think the biggest thing about missing out on, a whole year of theater is that you lose all that talent. And I'm not just talking about the talent on stage. My heart goes out to all those actors and, artists, writers, directors, dancers, singers, everyone else. But think about all the talent in the business of Broadway that we're losing as these, bigger marketing companies have to get slimmed down and down and down, as these businesses like myself in promotion, as they have to go on, put themselves on ice. And at the same time, we're leveraging ourselves up just to get through this pandemic. We need action. from a federal, state, and city level to make sure that our industry survives. We need direct financial assistance for the theaters. We need direct financial assistance for the business of Broadway, because when things come back, say it's May 30 next year, I would anticipate we're going to see a lot of summer openings. It's going to have to be subsidized. And that's the long and the short of it. Broadway gets about 60% of its business from international travel, and international travel is absolutely devastated, decimated this year. So we're going to need to be subsidized for the first little bit. So this Save Our Stages as part of this stimulus bill will go a long way towards that. But extra targeted paycheck protection program, extra targeted EIDL loans, anything the state and city can do to help us market ourselves, to help us get through this hard time, is going to be absolutely needed. This is more just me having a bit of a group therapy session, but this has been a very hard year for anyone involved in the live events or arts industry. We're losing essentially a generation of young artists, but also a lot of people are leaving the industry right now. And a lot of that old talent, all that received wisdom that's been built up over the last 150, 200 years of Broadway is not going to come back. So, you know, what this means for you is I implore you to, reach out to your artist friends. They're struggling right now. And please keep us in your thoughts, in your prayers, if you're a religious person. And if you can retweet or engage with any of these arts organizations, Be an Arts Hero, the Save Our Stages bill, if you can talk to your senator or your representative to help get this through, it would be much appreciated. So yeah. And also on that note, I've been talking about how I'm going to be experimenting with some long-form interviews. I will have an interview next week. That will be my first one. I'm going to talk with a catering professional who is at the top of his game, and about how this has impacted his life and what he sees is going to happen on the other side of this. And I'm hoping to continue that. So please like and subscribe. I'm going to have more content coming up. Cross your fingers, knock on wood, call your senator, call your representative so we can get this stimulus package through. I feel good about this for next week. We desperately need it. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks.